Today we're making 5 high protein breakfast recipes that actually taste good and they're so easy to make. High protein recipes have been all the rage lately, but honestly I think it's worth the hype, and it's also not that hard to meet your protein goals. Everybody talks about like how they have to think about it all day. There's so many ingredients that are super easy to access that have really high protein. We are going to start off with our easiest high protein recipes, which take about 5 to 10 minutes to make. They're super simple, and the first one we're making is just toast with nut butter. You can use peanut butter or almond butter for this recipe, but it's so good and it's an easy one to just eat on the go. This recipe, we have 13 grams of protein per slice. I'm using this Dave's Killer bread, which has 6 grams of protein and it's whole grain. And then I'm using this creamy peanut butter that's a no stir, and that has 7 grams per 2 tablespoons, which I'm gonna spread on top. Once it comes out of the toaster, I'm just gonna spread that on. I like to do a little bit of cinnamon on my peanut butter toast. It tastes really good. And then I'm just gonna slice up some bananas and add it on top. This is seriously the easiest recipe ever, and you could also just double it up and have 26 grams of protein. Next up, we're gonna do our peach and banana smoothie. This recipe is so yummy. It's only 5 ingredients, and it's great for spring and summer when it's warm outside. You guys are gonna absolutely love this one, so let's mix it up. This recipe makes 2 large smoothies, and it's 21 grams of protein per serving thanks to that nice Greek yogurt that we have. We're gonna be using some frozen bananas. I like to just like slice these up and freeze them myself because it's expensive to buy frozen bananas. And then I have sliced peaches, honey, Greek yogurt, and just some whole milk. You could also use other kinds of milk here, but basically you're just adding it all into the blender. We're gonna go ahead and blend this up until it's nice and smooth and creamy. And then also you can use, like, if you have dairy issues, you could always use like oat milk or almond milk. It's just gonna be a little bit thinner. I'm using whole milk for this recipe, so it's really nice and thick and creamy. And then if you wanna thin it out a little bit, you can always add some more milk in. Just blend this up and then just pour it into your cups and you are ready to go. This is a great one for in the car too. How good did that smoothie look? It is seriously so delicious. Next up is one that I eat on the daily. I either have this for breakfast, for snack, or sometimes even dessert. These are just some berry yogurt parfaits. They are so simple to make, and I love the Jessica's granola that goes on top of them. This one's just a few ingredients, and it's loaded with protein with no cooking required, so let's get to it. Parfaits pack 21 grams of protein per serving, and I'm just starting off with some fresh fruit. I have some blueberries and strawberries. I also like raspberries and blackberries. I'll kind of switch them up during the week just to so I don't get bored. Then I got these cute little cups from Target. We're using some faje yogurt for this, and I have, let's see, it's 3/4 cup and then 18 grams of protein. So we're gonna use about that. Just go ahead and layer it into your cup, and then I'm gonna top it with some Jessica's vanilla maple granola. Their brand is like my absolute favorite. It's so good. This adds 3 grams of protein to our cup, and then we're just gonna top it with our fresh fruit. You can always add some honey to this if you want to, but it's really sweet from the fruit. It's super good. Next up, we have our egg bites. These are a really popular recipe on the blog. They are bacon and Gruyere, which is a version that Starbucks used to make. I don't know if they still do. They probably do still, but these are packed with protein and they're so yummy. This is more of a weekend breakfast in my opinion, because it does take a little bit of time to make it, and then it bakes for about 20 to 25 minutes in the oven. But these are so yummy, and you can also prep them ahead for the week, which is great. You can just heat them up and then enjoy them for breakfast on the go too. Okay, so our egg bites are 18 grams of protein for 2 egg bites, which you can definitely eat more. We're gonna start with 5 slices of bacon. I like to use original or applewood for this, and just cut them into like 1-inch pieces. It's easier if you go ahead and just tear them apart so they're not all like chunked together when you put them in the pan. And then we're gonna add these to a skillet over medium heat and just cook them until they're nice and crispy. We're also gonna preheat our oven to 325 degrees, and then we need to shred some cheese. We have a combination of Gruyere cheese and Monterey Jack. You can definitely switch out the cheeses. You could use like cheddar cheese if you wanted to. It's not really that specific. Then we have 8 eggs. I know it's terrible because it's so expensive. I saw eggs the other day for $14.99 for a dozen. I almost died. Then we're adding in some whole milk. We have some sour cream that we're gonna add into the mix. And then we just have some salt and pepper. I feel like groceries are just like getting so expensive. We bought hardly anything yesterday and it was like $600 for groceries. I'm like, goodness gracious. We're also adding in half of that cheese and we're just gonna whisk this up until it's nice and combined. The sour cream sometimes sticks in the whisk, it's fine. It can be a little bit chunky looking too. It's not gonna hurt anything. And obviously the cheese isn't gonna melt. So just go ahead and set that aside. Check on that bacon, don't let it burn. And then you're gonna transfer it to a paper towel lined plate. Once it gets all nice and crispy, we're gonna take a muffin tin, that's what we're baking these in, and you wanna really grease those suckers because these things love to stick inside of them, which is super frustrating. So make sure you grease them really well, and then you're just gonna fill the muffin tins a little over halfway full. Once we're done, we're gonna stick these into the oven for 10 minutes. And then our bacon is cooled a little bit at this point, so I like to just chop it up into smaller pieces. I like them really, really bite-sized for this recipe. Then we're gonna head over to our egg bites and top them with that bacon. And we're gonna top them with a little bit of cheese. So we're just gonna use the rest of the cheese that we had left over and just give them just a little bit on each spot. These are gonna go back in the oven for like 8 to 15 minutes, depending on how you like your eggs. They get really puffy in the oven and they'll just kind of deflate as they cool off. And then just take a knife and just run it around and pop these out once they cool off a little bit. And then you can eat them, enjoy them, or you can store them in the fridge. Our last recipe is these delicious high protein pancakes. We're using cottage cheese for this recipe, which makes them super high in protein. We also have oats, and it is just a really yummy recipe. These pancakes are healthy and delicious with high protein, so let's get cooking. Protein pancakes feed about 2 hungry people, and it's about 19 grams for 3 small pancakes. I love this recipe because we're not using protein powder, we're using cottage cheese, oats, and milk and eggs for the recipe, so it's high in protein without using that fake powder. First, we're gonna take our oats and just really pulse these until super blended. Then we're gonna add in the cottage cheese and milk and then pulse this until it's all nice and smooth. You wanna really blend those oats as much as you can just to get the crunch out of it. It's gonna have a lot of texture if they're not really blended up. Make sure to scrape down the sides of the food processor as you go, or the blender you can use for this too, but just make sure that it's all blended and nice and smooth. Then we're gonna start with our dry ingredients. We have just a little bit of flour. We're gonna be using some baking powder so that they get nice and fluffy. And then we've got a tiny bit of salt. Cottage cheese has salt, so you don't wanna add too much. Then we have sugar. You're just gonna mix this up and blend it until it's nice and combined. Then go ahead and add in the cottage cheese mixture. Then we have 1 egg. We've got some vanilla extract, and you're gonna stir this up. I added 2 tablespoons of whole milk into it just because I felt like it was a little bit too thick. If you wanna add more, you can, or you can add less. Then just give this a really good stir until it's nice and combined. We're gonna get our skillet over medium heat on the stovetop and just add 1 tablespoon of butter in. I usually cook about 3 to 4 small pancakes at a time, and this is gonna make 2 batches. They only cook for a few minutes on each side. Wait till flip them until they're nice and golden on the bottoms with some bubbles on top, and then just give them a nice flip. And then when you cook the second batch, you can add another tablespoon of butter to it. And you wanna serve these right away. I'm gonna serve mine with some fruit and some syrup. These are so yummy. Okay, I wanna know in the comments below, which high protein breakfast recipe are you making this week? Let me know. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed all of these ideas. Thanks so much for being here. Make sure to give this video a like and make sure to subscribe to the channel for new recipes every single week. I love sharing them with you, and I'll see you next time.